guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Urban Decay and Game of Thrones collection. I am so freaking excited because I am a die-hard Game of Thrones fan and I love makeup. So two of my favorite things in the entire world coming together makes me so happy and excited. So if you're excited and you want to see what I think of this collection, then keep on watching. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let me go through everything that I was able to get from the collection because I didn't get everything, only because A, I didn't want everything, and also B, some of the things sold out like within seconds. I also ended up having to stay up. I live in Texas, so I ended up staying up until like 2:30 in the morning, close to 3 before I even got any of the stuff. It sold out within minutes, like within a few minutes. So whatever I did get, I'm very thankful for, and whatever I didn't get, I hope to get it whenever they do a restock. So let me show you guys everything that I did get. The first thing I got was the eyeshadow palette. The other thing I got was the highlight palette, the Mother of Dragons highlight palette, and then I also ended up getting Arya Stark's needle eyeshadow brush, and then Jon Snow's Longclaw eyeshadow brush. And both of these things I will not be using in the review today because these are kind of like collector's items, so I just want to keep them for myself. I did open these up and feel them. They're actually a lot heavier than what you would expect from like a normal eyeshadow brush. If you've ever used like Urban Decay brushes before, like for example the ones that come in like the Naked palette, you know, they're double-ended. These are actually a little bit softer than that, and they're actually heavier. They're not like Valerian steel heavy, but they definitely are like heavier. Let me open these up just to show you guys what I mean. So for example, if you see like the head of like the brush, like the brush itself, this part right here is like a normal brush made out of the same material as like their normal brushes from Urban Decay. But this right here, Jon Snow Longclaw part of it, this one's actually like heavy, it's like weighted. These are really good quality brushes and I did feel them, they're actually really soft. And then same thing with Arya Stark's needle. I actually like this one a little bit more because the detailing, let me open this one up as well. So the detailing of this, it's like you can kind of see how needle looks like, but the detailing of this brush I actually like a little bit better than the Jon Snow one. But even though the details on each of them are very exact and very realistic to what it looks like in the show, I just like the needle one better because I like gold details. So I think these two are very good collector's item pieces, and again the brush is actually very soft. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be reviewing is going to be the eyeshadow palette. So right off the bat, this is what the packaging looks like. It shows you all the colors that come in this palette. It just, everything about this packaging, like when I first saw the pictures of this, I was like really excited, but just like feeling it, it is kind of raised. The spine of the box looks a lot like a book, which when you take it out of the box, the actual palette, it does look like a book. So if you don't know, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, which you definitely should, Game of Thrones is based, like the show is based on a book. The spine of the palette actually looks like a book, which is so cool. It has the embossed gold detailing, so it looks really nice and regal. In the front, again, gold embossed detailing, and you open it up kind of like a book. So in most books, when you open up a book, you see a quote or something. So when you open this up, you have a mirror on one side, and then the other side you have a quote, and I will read you that quote. Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell, they're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, then this one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. And this was a quote from Daenerys. If you watch the show, you probably already knew that. But the coolest part about all this is that when you open it, it has a pop-up Iron Throne, which is so cool. I think this is like one of the coolest palettes that I've ever seen in my entire life because it has that pop-up Iron Throne right there. And then right underneath that, it also has a quote from Tyrion Lannister: "Never forget what you are, the rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor and it can never be used to hurt you." So once you close the book, you slide out the actual eyeshadows underneath, and I think this is really nice because you can just kind of like take the eyeshadows with you anywhere. Obviously this isn't meant for traveling. I know I saw a few reviews, which I never watch reviews when I plan on reviewing stuff myself, but I was just so excited. I wanted to see what people had to say, and most people are like, well, you can't travel with this, so you know it's not really worth it. And I was just like, wait, hold up, who the heck is traveling like with this big of a palette? Like what? So obviously like that aspect of it I don't see. Like, another thing I wanted to point out is that all of this, if you look at the entire packaging, everything inside the palette, is you can see the map of, I guess, Game of Thrones. You see Yunkai. On the side you see the Dothrakis. The entire map is right there, which is so awesome. And then you take out dun, 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 the eyeshadows. And let me tell you what each of the eyeshadows are. So they like split it up into houses, which the first one you have the White Walkers, and then you have the Starks, the Lannisters, and the Targaryens. So right here you can see how beautiful the palette looks, you know, with all the shades in it. And then these four, like I read on the box, it says these are the Transformer shades. So they're kind of like almost like pressed pigments, or pressed like glitter pigments almost. So I guess these are meant to be layered on top of like other eyeshadows, or I guess by themselves. So the names on this are exactly like from the shows. So we have Take the Black, then we have White Walker, Frozen North, Free Folk, and then the Transformer shade to go with that is Hard Home. Then for the Starks we have Nymeria, which if you watch the show was Arya Stark's direwolf. And then we have Winter is Here, and then Werewood Leaves, The Sight, and then the Transformer shade Winterfell. For the Lannister house we have Red Keep, Casterly Rock, House Lannister, Lannister Red, and then King's Landing. And then for House Targaryen we have Stormborn, House Targaryen, Dothraki, and Bend the Knee, and then the Transformer shade of Bay of Dragons, which formerly was Slaver's Bay, and then Mama Daenerys came in and freed everyone, so it was later called Bay of Dragons. So, by the way, I'm going to be talking about the show here and there, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Go watch that before you come watch this, okay? I might spoil something for you, and it's not on me. You had 10 years to watch it. Only thing about this palette, just looking at it, there's only 3 matte shades. So that is Nymeria, Lannister Red, and House Lannister, which honestly, for that reason, I don't think this is a versatile palette. I like to characterize my palettes as either their primary palettes, like a palette that I can use for any kind of look that I ever have in mind, and then supplementary palettes, which is what this is. It's like a palette that you can use with another palette like on a daily basis, you know, if you were to use it on a daily basis. But regardless, I'm gonna use this palette on my eyes. Alright, so I've zoomed you guys in just a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm going to be doing on my eyes. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first off, I'm going to be taking this shade right here, Nymeria, and it's like a transition-y brown color, and put that through my crease. Right now, as I'm doing this, oh, by the way, I did prime my eyes with just a little bit of like Tarte Shape Tape and Too Faced Multi-Sculpting Concealer, and then I just kind of used both of them to prime my eyelids. But I'm just going to put this shade through my crease just a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to do with the eyeshadows, but I kind of want to do something a little bit different. I did try out this palette yesterday, and then the filming didn't go so well, so I will include some of the footage there, and I'll show you the eye look that I did yesterday I used the shade The Sight, like the green one. So I think today I'm going to be doing something else. So I want to try out the mattes and the shimmers and the Transformer shades just to try out everything and figure out if it's good quality or not. If you haven't used Urban Decay shadows before, they usually are good quality, and they tend to not have too much fallout either, which I'm noticing right now there's not too much fallout. Obviously I have foundation and everything underneath. All I'm going to be focusing on is the eyes. So I'm going to be taking just a little bit of Lannister Red. I like barely tapped into it. The shadows are quite pigmented, and I would expect nothing less from Urban Decay. And I just remember, like, I used to be so obsessed with Urban Decay's eyeshadows at one point. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take House Targaryen. I want to get like a shade from each of the houses, so I'm going to take this right here, House Targaryen, and see what that looks like on my lids. Oh, okay, that is so pretty. And I'm just using a finger. So there's the look for that. I'm also going to be taking some of Casterly Rock, which is also a shimmer shade, and I'm going to put that like right here where the Lannister red and the Targaryen, the House Targaryen shade kind of meet. So right now as I'm doing this, I see no fallout at all. Alright, so I'm just going to dip into Winter is Here just a little bit. Alright, do the same thing on the other side. Actually, I'm going to use King's Landing and Hard Home in my inner corner just to see what it looks like. So, okay. I don't think I'm going to put Hard Home because that is more icy, but King's Landing as a highlight looks amazing. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is take this blue and smoke it out underneath my lower lash line. So I'm going to take Frozen North underneath my lower lash line. I'm actually going to take this a little bit more. I know I'm going to try to get funky with it, so it's okay. That's honestly just one swipe. That's what I'm surprised about, so one swipe. So I'm just going to go back into the shade Nymeria. But I'm going to take a little bit of Take the Black, which I think it's referring to Castle Black. I'm just going to take that and just use a flat brush like this. I'm going to go into this Transformer shade, Winterfell, and I want to see how it looks if I were just to add that onto what we had before. So that is a look. I think I like this better because this is more like gold tone rather than what we used with House Lannister or House Targaryen early on, which is more of a warmer coppery kind of gold. Now the shimmers, I do see a little bit more fallout than I was before on my cheeks, which is not really a big deal because I can just like remove it. And most of this was because of the darker shimmers I use, which is pretty standard for almost any dark eyeshadow. So very minimal fallout, and that's one of the things that Urban Decay does right. So I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes, put on mascara, and be right back. Alright, I'm going to move right on to the lips. Now, the problem with this is that I was only able to get the eyeshadow palette, the highlighter palette, and the brushes. I wasn't able to get the lip and cheek stain, which honestly I wasn't too interested in just because I knew I wasn't going to use it. And then the lipsticks I wasn't able to get, which I'm so mad because each of the lipsticks has each of the house sigils on there, and the only one that looked appealing to me was the White Walker one, which is like a deep berry red. But I do have an Urban Decay lipstick right here in the shade Matte Stark Naked. It has the word Stark in it, and you know the Starks are an important family in this show. Funny enough, I am going to be using this shade. It's just a nude. Urban Decay actually makes some of my favorite lipsticks. I'm sure the ones that came in this collection are amazing. Now, the only one that I wasn't too keen on was the, I forget if it's like Cersei's or Sansa's lip shade, but it's one of the sheer lipsticks from Urban Decay, which I don't really like the sheer lipstick formula. I do like their matte lipstick formula and their regular Vice lipsticks. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I took off my earrings because I felt like it was like too gold. With this look, it wasn't really going. But yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put on some highlights. So right here we have the Mother of Dragons highlight palette. The packaging is amazing, embossed and everything. So here's the Mother of Dragons highlight palette. It comes with 3 dragon eggs. So this one is, let me show you guys without blinding you. This one is Rhaegal, this one is Viserion, and this one is Drogon, which I don't know why they made Drogon pink. I just don't get that. Also, Viserion, if they made it like an icy, because you know he is a blue-eyed white dragon now, so he is a White Walker dragon, I guess. So I think if they made Viserion like a little bit icy, I could have understood that. I don't get why Drogon's pink. Anyways, I'm going to be taking Viserion on my cheekbones, only because I know that this one, let me just show you, this one right here is a little bit too pink for me, and I don't think I could wear it with this look. And Rhaegal is a little bit too dark for me, but I can totally use this on my eyelids sometime, which is fine. Let me go ahead and spray my face before I put this on. Get a little bit of this. Oh my god. I think this is a very nice highlight because it does have like that golden undertone. Let me zoom you guys out and give you the full rundown of what I think of this collection. Alright, so let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. This retails for $65. It has 20 shades in here, mostly shimmers with 3 mattes and then 4 transformer shades. It has an array of different colors. I think Urban Decay did an amazing job of showcasing Game of Thrones through these shades, and then also I like how they broke it up into different houses, and I like that the background of each of the shadows is different, like based on the colors of each of the houses. So I have to say that's probably the reason why it's so up there in price. Like $65 is a hefty price, but you are paying for packaging as well as, you know, like you're obviously paying for packaging considering like there's a pop-up Iron Throne in here with, you know, the mirror and everything. This is like a heavy duty palette. It's like quite heavy, so I would say you're paying for mostly the packaging. But again, Urban Decay eyeshadows are really nice. They blend really nicely. If you love Game of Thrones and you love makeup, I think this would be the #1 thing I would tell you to get. Now, I'm also going to tell you guys, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones or you don't care about it, but the palette intrigues you, I will say this is not a travel-friendly palette. Some of these shades you can probably find somewhere else, but again, the quality of Urban Decay is different. So if you want to spend that kind of money, I think you're basically spending a lot of the money for the packaging. So if you don't love Game of Thrones, it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to buy this palette, because like I said, you can find some of the shades for somewhere else for probably a lot cheaper. For the Mother of Dragons palette, so this right here retails for $36, and in my opinion I think that is quite a hefty price. I didn't realize like how tiny it was when it came in, which honestly, like looking at it, like this is actually quite tiny. Like this is my hand. It takes a while for me to get through highlights, so I guess that's fine, but technically I'm only going to be reaching for a Viserion, like 1 shade in the entire highlighting palette. So for 1 shade paying $36 seems outrageous. Again, you're paying for packaging, and then for the few times I will be using these 2 shades. So I personally would not advise for you to get this palette, but if you are like, if you just want to get one thing and you want something that's much cheaper than getting the eyeshadow palette, then I would say get like the brushes or the lipsticks. Even though I know I haven't tried out the lipsticks or the eyeliners, I know like that's something that I for sure would use. I just feel like this is like a very hefty price, so I personally would not recommend buying this myself, because I feel like this shade right here, the Viserion shade, is a very common shade you can find just by itself from a lot of different companies for probably like a way cheaper price, so would not really recommend this. The only other thing I have are the brushes. Like I said, they're really soft and actually kind of heavy. They are collector's items, so I would say get them. I think each of the brushes are like $26 or $28. Can't remember at the top of my head, but they are quite expensive, like for one eyeshadow brush. But when you think about it, they're mostly like as a collector's item. So if you're interested, if you love Game of Thrones and you like collecting stuff, then you would probably enjoy this. Again, you're basically paying for packaging. So this is very up there in price, so I don't know. I would say like this is kind of like personal preference. Now, since I didn't get the lipsticks, I can't give you a review on that, but as soon as I do get them, I think Sephora and Ulta are supposed to have them sometime later this month. So as soon as that comes out, I will give you guys either an update on here or on my Insta stories and tell you guys what I think of the remaining collection, which the only other items I'm going to be getting are the eye pencils and the lipsticks, because the lipsticks have the sigils and the eye pencils have the sigils, and I really want both of them. So that brings us to the end of this review. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a like and bend the knee and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so I get a raven sent to you every single time I post a new video. With that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!